Steve Dees, who works at the Hospitality House. Pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you very much.
So the first question I want to ask you is, being one of the few companies to achieve this Green Award from the City of Williamsburg, what's the first thing that you recommend to a company that hasn't gone green to do first? What is the first thing they need to do?
The first thing that folks need to do is to look at their buying practices and their refuse practices and look for alternatives that either would have a cost benefit or an environmental benefit. In some cases, it's not necessarily going to, they're not going to realize a cost savings, but it doesn't cost any extra to do something that will benefit the environment in some way, shape, or form.
Okay. What was the most difficult step you encountered in order for you to go green?
The main thing is transitioning your existing team to look for ways or options that improve the way the business impacts the environment. It may mean an extra step for them, and if they've been used to doing something for years and years and years, as many employees in the hospitality industry often are, it just takes a little bit of extra effort on their part to say, instead of just throwing everything in one container, let's just put it in two. It's just an extra step, no extra work.
So can you just talk a little bit about the day-to-day things that Hospitality House in specific has done as part of their green initiative, and what things you guys have changed in your day-to-day operations?
Sure. For the kitchen, all of the grease that comes out from the fryers, the grills, all of that is actually recycled back and used as biofuel. That's handled through a company locally. All of the cardboard that's on site is recycled as well. For our conferences, we have options that we can recycle their plastic, their bottles, their cans, etc. In the way of our guest rooms, we have standards of service that allow us to not wash all of the linens each and every day that a guest is staying with us, because it's just like if you're at your house, you don't wash your bed every day. There's no real need to do that. In some cases, folks want it, and of course we accommodate that, but the savings over the course of a year in both just the water and the expense is huge just by shaving one day out of the middle. There's also standards for the thermostats in the guest rooms where on periods where the occupancy is not heavy, we actually scale everything back just because there's no need to keep it at 70 degrees when no one's going to be in there. Scale it back to 60, the building is still maintained, but there's a cost savings for us, and of course not as much power is consumed by us as a result. Outside of that, the chemicals that we use for cleaning the rooms are all green, so they break down. There's not as much impact on the environment there. It really stretches from the housekeeping operation over to maintenance and back into the food and beverage. I mean, it's all, everyone here is a team for the most part, but just the way that those teams interact, that's where the savings are made.
Right. And you sort of highlighted the difference between environmental savings and cost savings, but would you say that the majority of the changes you've made have allowed you to have a little bit of both?
I would say so.
Well, I think that covers the basic questions, and just again, like to thank you for
course.
being with us today.
Of course.
All right. Well.